So good evening, friends. Welcome back, so to say. Welcome back to our long-awaited session of Extra Bytes. Yes, I think our last session was on 12th or 13th of September. So it's almost now 2 months since we came online, since we came live with somebody. And we've been receiving a lot of requests that when will we be back and why we are off. So believe me, if it was in our control, we would have continued. And there are certain things which are beyond our control, which forced us out for almost two months, and we missed you all as much as you missed us. But as they say that good times return very, very soon, and we are back, and we are back with a bang now. And today we have one of the most wonderful travel photographers that I have known. He's Prasad Ambati. He is right now based in Chennai, and he's been traveling because of his job. He's been posted in, as far as I know, he will tell more about it, in Thailand earlier, then China, and then was lucky enough, I would say, to be back in India just before the lockdown started, the COVID started hitting the entire world. And so, welcome, Prasad. Welcome, everybody on the panel. Som, Sandeep, and Himadri as well.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So, let me just give you a brief background about Prasad. So, Prasad is a software professional, and the most interesting part, which I really get intrigued by his profile, is that though he's a travel photographer, he never traveled anywhere outside his hometown till he was 21. That's quite a number of years before somebody really starts moving out. And it was in his 21st year that he got into a train for the first time. And during his education years, history and geography he was very keen on and interested in history and geography as two subjects. And that increased his desire to travel to various places in the world. As he was growing up, he started his professional journey. He made sure that he traveled to some place and many places as far as possible. And he started exploring those places, new cultures. People always interested him. So while he was traveling, he wanted to document all these people. And during somewhere in between, he started learning photography. He started getting interested in photography, and he started learning photography. So lots of online resources and friends helped him in his photography journey, in learning. And he says, and he's been widely published photographer as well. So he has been published in National Geographic, Traveler magazine, Garuda Indonesia, Inflight magazine, Telegraph UK, Guardian UK, and various other media, both in print and online. So, and he says that his goal is to travel to as many places as possible on this earth and photograph them. And I personally have been very intrigued by his kind of take and approach towards travel photography, because most of the travel photographers that I have come across are mostly photojournalistic types who document more than create. Create in the sense that start moving even towards fine artist kind of domain. And that is where I found Prasad to be knowing no boundaries and crossing everything possible, and showing his creativity and in whatever way he can. So I think I will not hog limelight further. So welcome Prasad all over again, all over to you. And we would want, and everybody out there would want to know more about you, hear from you and your journey, and go through your images.
Thank you, Jesse ji. It's been an honor to be associated with you. I've known you for quite a long time, and we met a couple of times briefly in the holy trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I should say you are one of the beginning mentors for me, like in photography.
अरे नहीं है.
Yeah,
Mentors क्या हम लोग we I wished I would have met you more often, let me be honest, but glad to see that now you are a part of Exploring Light team. So we will have opportunities provided COVID allows us to do that.
yeah. You mentioned one point, right? There is no boundaries about the genre what I do. For me, I actually don't know what is a genre. I just do what I like at that time, right? Whenever we travel, right? There is, I mean, you never know what you will see.
Yeah.
So you just take pictures, whatever is available for you,
Yeah.
right? So I don't actually know and think about genre or anything. I just take pictures whenever I travel and whatever I see.
Great. That's the right approach, I think.
Yeah. Uh, so, like you said, right? I haven't been travel until 21. Probably when I was a child, like maybe when I was in second class or so, I traveled to my grandparents' house. I don't remember much, and maybe I would have gone to Tirupati, which is the farthest place, a couple of times. Um, that's the only place I travel like till I was like 2021. The reason is like my father actually he works in a road transport corporation, and for him the for the family, right, the bus tickets are free. Even then we never went out because we are from a lower middle class family, and money is always an issue, right? Once you reach the 20th of the month, the next 10 days is quite difficult, right? So that's why we never I mean, and moreover my father, right, his only goal as far as I know is to give a proper education to me and my brother. We are two kids, so that's the only goal I have seen. Like the whatever he works or whatever he does, his only aim is to give a better platform for us in future. So whatever he earned, everything he spent on our education, right? I think when I was in fourth class or so, I used to go to my neighbor's house because they used to subscribe this newspaper. In that you have this cartoon story. Every day they will have a story, right? I used to go to their house to read that and come back. One day he asked me like, why you are going to the neighbor's house every day? I wanted to read that newspaper. So he thought, okay, reading newspaper is a good thing. For like my father and mother, they haven't completed. I mean, my father completed high school, and my mother even completed high school. So for them, the education is like that's the thing they wanted us to get. So he thought, okay, having a newspaper is a good thing. So he started subscribing the newspaper. So that's how I used to go through the things around the world, and I started getting interested in most of the things around the world. I just used to read the headings most of the places. Only the sports column I used to read full details in those days. Right. One day he came home and he asked me like, there is some news about my organization, right? What is that? I said, yeah, there is a news. He asked me what is the details. I said I didn't read the detail. I just read the heading. So from next day onwards, right, my exercise is evening when he comes, he will read the heading and I need to tell him the news. So he made sure I'm reading everything. So that's how I actually started interest into the world outside, because I was in a small town which you won't get much exposure. And those days, TV is just the basic, right? You only have Sundays for the TV. And
Yeah.
my house doesn't have a TV until I was 7th class or so. So I used to go to my neighbor's house and watch. And there was one of my neighbor. He is a bank employee, and every Sunday when I go, right, most of these whatever comes in the TV on Sunday, it comes in Hindi. So for me, I don't know Hindi, and he used to sit and explain me. Like in 1988, there was this Olympics in Seoul. So that's how I know like what is Olympics and all. He used to explain me about the Olympics, and lots of general knowledge like about various countries and all. I actually started from him, and then the newspaper, and then the books in the school. So for me, that I wanted to travel somewhere, some all these places at some point in my life. So that's the only goal I used to have. But I was not sure, because again, like growing up, most of the time I used to waste my time with playing, being lazy and all, right? So I was not sure, but somehow I completed my masters in computer applications, and luckily I got a job where I got a chance to travel often, right? So first time I went to UK, in London. I was madly, like in the weekend, right? I was madly going about all those places which I read about and saw, right? I was in front of the Buckingham Palace, and I was feeling like I'm sitting in front of a TV, and this is the TV. I'm still not believing that I'm really there. It was more like I'm watching in front of the TV. Just before going that trip, I bought a phone. It was 6620 or something, Nokia phone, which has a 2 megapixel camera. So all my photos in that trip, right, I took with that camera, with that phone.
We'd like to see some of them.
It's I was not able to open my hard disk before this session, so I don't have those pictures, but I will show it sometime later. But those are basic, like
Okay.
you just see and click, you just see and click. There's no thinking or anything, right? It's just that we have been there, that's it. And in 2006, I started going to Thailand often, like almost every 2 weeks once. I used to go to Thailand because of the work, and there I met my future wife. And in 2008 we decided to get married, right? When we decided to get married, she said we need to meet a photographer so that we can take pre-wedding photos. For me, what is pre-wedding photos? I don't know what are pre-wedding photos. I know only wedding photos at that time. She said, no, let's go and we'll meet a photographer. So we went and met a photographer, and that guy showed his album, right? And then he told some price. For me, it was like, it's not even wedding. Why I need to spend this much? It's not even a wedding, right? Then my wife, she told, if we have a nice camera, then we can take the pictures by ourselves. Okay, what is a nice camera? Then she told me two models, one Canon and one Nikon. I just opened online. I saw which one is the cheapest. And the Canon model was the cheapest. It was Canon 400D. That's my first camera. So one of my friend was coming in that month from US, and I asked him to buy that, and he brought that camera. So when I was taking that camera from him, he was telling, the shop guy was explaining me so many things about this camera, and I said, it's not for me, it's my friend. Then that guy asked, can I be your friend? When I got that camera, right, I saw the manual. For half day I was going through the manual and I didn't understand anything. right? Luckily, my wife's mother's friend, he knows how to take pictures. So he used our camera, and the next day she took me to a shopping mall, and she said we also need a telephoto lens. I don't even know what is a telephoto lens. She said, no, no, the things which is far right, we can take the pictures for that. Okay, then we bought one Sigma 70 to 300 zoom lens, and with those two, the kit lens and the zoom lens, her mother's friend took the photos for us. Thailand, right? It's already a tourist place, and there are lots of places to travel around. So often we used to go around. Not even Thailand, not only Thailand. We used to go to Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong. Everywhere, I just used to take this camera. Whenever we travel, that the time I used to take this camera out and click in auto mode. And there are times like at the when we were in Hong Kong, we were trying to take the photos of us in the night, right? Everything was blur. I don't know why they were coming as blur. I thought the camera is not good enough at that time. And once we come back, right, sometime in 2011 or so, that was almost 3 years after, still I was using my camera in an auto mode. I saw in Facebook or somewhere, I saw somebody posting a picture, few pictures with the same camera and same lens. That blew me away. Like whatever the photos, I actually don't remember what it was, but it was so good. And when I see that description, right, it's the same camera what I have, and it's the same lens I have. So that's when I thought, okay, I have some good equipment in my hand, which I need to know how to use it. Otherwise, it's waste of like it's no use in my hands having such good equipment. So that's when I started looking into online. uh, I saw about Lightroom. I know about aperture. I know about ISO. I know about shutter speed through online. Okay, so I used to take the pictures, and I used to adjust something in Lightroom. There used to be presets in the on the side, right? I I don't remember. There was one for popular one which I always use, and then I used to post my pictures on my Facebook, and all the friends used to say like, "Oh, you became a professional photographer," and that actually made me thinking like, okay, now I'm a professional photographer. I can take very nice pictures, right? So for a couple of years, I was taking in that way. There is no more learning, no composition, nothing. That's when I joined this group called Click. That's when I know you, Jesse G. In
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, I used to post picture. Nobody used to like the picture. No comments, nothing. I next day I used to post another picture. No comments, nothing. So I used to wonder like why my picture is so bad, or why is it so? Are these guys are so biased because the other photographers may be known to them. Then I started reading the comments on other pictures. Slowly I started understanding like, okay, we need to see how to read a picture by seeing those comments, right? I started understanding how to read a picture, how to understand a picture. And from then onwards, I used to tag Jesse G and Pankaj and Rajnish. Like every day I post a photo. I used to tag these three to give me a critic. So either one of them always used to give me a critic, and that's how I started. So if I actually I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
I couldn't share the screen,
Try
Jesse
now.
G.
Try now.
Yeah. Okay. So before 2014, how my pictures were. This I took from a car. Okay, when we were going in the car, I just took from the car. We stopped in the car because we saw a yak, and I just took it in front of it. And this also, while we are going in the car, I just took that. These are sometime in 2013, the beginning days when I joined Click.
Mm.
And this use the 50 mm lens, the popular one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just take a picture. These are all the travel pictures. Like whenever I go for travel, right, I simply take these pictures. And it used to be like this, like there is no composition. And I use these sliders in Lightroom to make them look colorful. And I don't even realize that the darks are gone here. And these are all handheld, I remember, if I remember correctly.
Okay, at this time also, so high ISO and
Yeah. And like I said, in 2014, these are the two people that happened in my life, and my photography took a turn. I happened to meet Pankaj when he came to Thailand, right? We went in the evening, a couple of days in the evening with him. That's when I started understanding like what you need to think when you are taking a picture, because I was observing him and he was also explaining few of the things.
I
That's
think
how
it's very long time back that he visited Thailand and met you, if I remember right.
yes, it was in 2014,
Okay, there was quite a
sometime.
long time back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sometime towards the end of 2014 or so, or middle of 2014. He came for his family trip, but here one evening we just catch up with each other
Mm.
and went to take some pictures around. So this is where these are the two people, like you, Jesse G, and the Pankaj, changed my thinking of photography. Until then, I was just taking pictures with aperture priority or shutter priority or with ISO, and using the Lightroom sliders.
Presets also.
Yes. These are the pictures. Once I started understanding, right, put some thinking into the pictures. Until then, there was never a thinking into the picture. Just it looks nice, so I just click a picture. That's it. And since I remember how the scene was, that my picture always looks good.
Mm.
And this is one I started thinking about compositions, but still the sliders were still there. So I was
Composition
moving
is
all of them into.
uh, user composition is very much visible now.
Yeah. And I used to take lots of portraits, right? But here, if you see the background is blown out.
Mm.
And even here, I cut the hands in the down. But it was like, this is like trying the slow shutter. And this was with Pankaj when we went to that Lantern Festival on the first time in 2014.
Mm.
This was the first picture or a second picture for me that had become the picture of the day in Click.
Mm.
And few people were saying the darks are too dark. There were no details, but I still remember Jesse G's words that it doesn't matter. This has the impact, and he chosen this as a picture of the day. And this one also made it to the picture of the day. The kid was playing under the table, and he was like, he is not ready to take a picture. Whenever I point the camera to him, he is hiding under the table. Just one moment when he came out, I just clicked it. And this is one more, like it's a trip with me, my wife, and Pankaj. We went to Chiang Rai. This is another one very near to my house. Now, if I see these pictures, compositions were okay, better. I was thinking about the compositions at that time, but still a lot of things are not there.
Mm.
And this is
We
all,
were
sorry, Prasad, this is all before 2014, right?
these are around 2014, before 2000. These are 2014.
Okay. Not bad for a start. I mean, you have to see my pictures. Horrible.
I agree with
This
you,
one,
Tom.
myself and Pankaj were standing next to each other, right? And we took the pictures. When I saw his picture, it was completely different. My picture was completely different. I didn't. He didn't notice this red color there on one of this fingernail here, right?
Mm.
There was another one holding something, some bowl or something, which I didn't notice. So that's when I felt like, okay, two people standing at the same place, at the same scene, but we took completely different scene. And this was one more, like the compositions are not so good. I just went with my feeling at that time. If I go to the same place now and stand at the same place, right, the compositions will be different.
Mm.
This was just a
So Prasad, just to interrupt,
mm.
what would be different? Can you tell us what would you like to do differently?
Now I remember this place. So the fog was there more on the left side, right, on the right side, and the village is on the left side. Maybe here I don't like. It's almost the middle. The village is in the center, right? I wanted to. I would have used this line which is at the edge of the village. I would have used it in a better way.
Okay.
I think this composition that you've made, which we can see, though it's in landscape mode, but I think it is shouting out to be in portrait
in
mode.
portrait, yeah.
Landscape, you needed much more space on the right side and maybe include some more drama.
Right.
Well, yeah.
What is to the right? Is that inverse cloud?
Yeah, it's a cloud. This is a bit of like probably like a 5-story height. This one, and once you go down, on the left side is it's a volcano.
Okay.
So the clouds are formed. I mean, I think in this picture you can see.
Okay.
This is on what is there on the right side. Probably I processed this much later after I started learning processing techniques.
Hmm.
Yeah, even this one I processed much later, sometime in 2015 or so, I think. Okay, in 2015, I met one photographer called Andrew. He's based in, he's Malaysian, based in Singapore. I know him through because some of the members in Click also are there in this group. He used to run a group, and in that group, he used to give comments for each and every picture posted in that group. He is the only admin there, and he used to give comment or reviews for each and every picture posted in that group. And I used to follow his comments even other pictures. And I signed up for one of his tours to this Lantern Festival in Thailand in 2014. But what happened is the trip was cancelled. So I went, me and Pankaj, we both went by ourselves. So next year also again I asked him, I messaged him and asked if there is a trip like this. He said, I think there is no organizer, but since you are living in Thailand, if you can organize something, then we can go. So I just found a tourist guy and arranged for the hotels and the transport, and then we travel. I think it was a 5-day trip. Whatever I learned in all those years before was very different, and what I learned in those 5 days is completely different. because in those 5 days shooting with him in the same location, and he used to explain like what he shooting and why is he shooting, right? It changed my thought process a lot. I think from 2015 onwards, his influence is a lot on me in most of my photos. So this is one of the photos I captured from my balcony. I just put it on a time in a time lapse mode. Keep shooting pictures, and in one of the shots, it caught this thunder. This is one of the junction which I used to pass every day in Thailand. I went to shoot the long exposures here.
Prasad, we can't see the image.
We can. Himadri, I was able to see.
Uh-huh.
I'm able to see the image.
Which one are you saying now?
You are not able to see this?
I can. So
Yeah, I can also.
Probably some issue with my network. Please continue, Prasad.
Okay. It's one of the popular building in Thailand. I just liked the patterns and took a picture. This was, I took it from the tallest building in Thailand. One of my friends from India came to visit us in Thailand, and we took him to this tallest building. I was just lucky. The sun rays and everything was there perfectly on that day. It's the same on the other side of the building, and this one is shot through the glass.
Okay. But who did you get inspired in terms of your processing?
I should say it's from Andrew. Like I used to follow his comments in all his photos in the groups, right? In his group. So if I read his read his comments, right, that's where I used to get the idea of about processing.
Okay.
This was one of the shopping malls in Thailand.
So you speak of Andrew as in the past. So this group no longer exists.
He actually dismantled the group and started a very small one because he expects everyone to contribute to the growth, right? And there were around 900 members, but there was hardly any engagement in that. So what he did is he dismantled that, and now he started a very small group. I think about maybe 100 to 200 members now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he again is the only mentor there.
Yes.
Admin.
Yes. This is the Lantern Festival. I went with him, right? I even actually did a panning shot with one of these lanterns. I couldn't find that shot actually. It's in my hard disk, which I couldn't open now. This is the one in the previous year when I went and returned, right? I saw there is some photos with this reflection, but I don't remember seeing any water or lake or anywhere near there. So next time when I went, right, I went around and found out there is actually a small pond next to this. And from 3 o'clock onwards, people were sitting there. And there was no place. So me and the other group, we found a place which is on the sideways and sat there. But after because this event starts only at 8 o'clock, so it's only almost 5 hours. Slowly, one by one, most of them left. But I thought I already came here the previous time, so I thought, okay, let me take this shot and then go inside. So I took the shot just when the lanterns were released. There was no space to put the tripod. I just put the camera on the bag and in the last moment, just when the lanterns were releasing, right, the guy who is standing in front of me, he came into my frame. So actually I cropped almost 1/3 of the frame on the right side.
Prasad, sorry. Now, could you tell a little bit about the Lantern Festival? I mean, photographers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to ask that.
in our what we call Kartik Purnima, right? Sometime in November we will have Kartik Purnima,
Okay.
the
Okay.
full
So
moon.
somewhere around 29th or 30th of November this year.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you take it by this year,
yes.
somewhere around that time.
The same day in Chiang Mai they celebrate this one festival. In Thailand they call it Loi Krathong, and they will release these lights into the water. And in the north of Thailand, right, they will celebrate this lantern festival where they release these lanterns. So they pray, and these lanterns, they release these lanterns into the sky. And there is one Buddhist group who gathers people at the one of the university and release at the same time here. So this is at that university. They do it twice. One is a free event, and another one is a paid event where you need to buy a ticket.
Okay.
I think from 2015 onwards, because a lot of environment activists, right, they protest to have this because these lanterns can cause environmental hazard.
Mm.
So the government actually banned only on the festival day we can release. Rest of the days you shouldn't. But actually, if you see the locals, right, every house they will come out and keep releasing these lanterns from the house
Mm.
for that full 1 week or so. So now they do only one event, I think, and that is a paid event. And now it became a very expensive event, I heard.
Okay. But when you shot all this was all free and
Yeah.
okay.
The free event will have more people, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
free, and the paid one will have less number of people.
Mm.
So they're still happening. If somebody's interested, they can still go, right, Prasad?
Yes, it's still happening. Even now, it's happening. This is a slow shutter I tried. All this, right? Actually, I thought I will have a lot of time, but the lanterns fly actually so fast. It all happens so fast. I thought of doing a slow shutter, and some people they bring more than 2 3 lanterns, and when they were releasing the next set or so, I did this slow shutter. But I didn't. I mean, this is not exactly how I imagined. Maybe I should have done something different with the slow shutter. The composition could have been different, I feel.
But lanterns, since you can't define their path, so probably the
Yes,
capture
yes,
would always be haphazard.
yeah,
There'll be no synchronization in the
right.
pattern they get created. But
Okay.
did you, since you said that it's on Kartik Purnima night, so the moon will be also in its full glory?
Yes, yes. It's a full moon.
And so, did you ever try to create an image? Was it possible, lantern with the image or with the moon or something like that? Is it?
By the time the lantern goes out, right, it becomes so tiny actually.
Hmm.
If you see this picture,
Hmm.
these are not far from the ground.
Okay.
Still, they look very small. The moment they go a bit higher, they look very tiny, and
Hmm.
it's difficult to actually focus because they're so tiny.
Hmm.
And this is at the temple near in the same city in Chiang Mai. They do this ceremony for 2 days on the same festival. So on the previous day for before this lantern release, we went to this temple, and it was jam packed. Right, there was no place actually to even move. People were pushing each other, and it was completely dark. And I was on ISO 6400 for this, if I remember. It was F4 and ISO 6400. So I fully opened whatever possible with my lens and camera at that time. And this is some tribal
You
village
got the
there.
focus absolutely right. The focus is bang on. So did you pre-focus for the shot? What did you do?
I use the back focus. I started learning about back focus in this trip. So I started using that back focus, and also in the processing, right? I use there is one method which I found somewhere, and I tweaked it a bit, and I use that action in Photoshop always for the sharpening.
Okay.
So if you have the focus right, it looks more clear.
Okay.
This is in this trip actually, when I was shooting everything, right? If you remember the previous year when I went, I shoot a portrait where the background has lots of highlights. In this trip, I used to take a picture, a portrait, and show to Andrew, saying, I felt like I took a very nice picture. So I proudly used to show him, and he used to point something in the background. You see here, this background here, there is a light. Again, I used to shoot another one and I show him. Again, he used to point something. That's where I started practicing seeing the background first when I took a portrait.
So how important you till now you've been mentioning Pankaj's name, my name, and more the Andrew's name.
Andrews.
So how important is the role of somebody who guides you or points out mistakes in your images? Does it hurt? First is okay. Let me not ask as the question as first part of the question. Let me not ask it this way. Did you ever feel that somebody who's giving you inputs is being biased?
Yeah.
Unnecessarily
Especially in click days, right? In 2013 or most early part of 2014, every day I used to post a picture, and I used to see the picture of the day, and I used to compare, and I used to think why my picture is not selected. Okay, and somebody gives a comment. There are few times I even try to find the same mistake in those guys' photos whenever they post. I used to remember that a lot and try to. I think at some point I started realizing that see why these people are giving me this why they will have any grudge against me, right? Why they will have hatred against me. So slowly I started thinking like whatever they are telling is for the good of this picture. It's not about me, right? It's only about this picture. So slowly I started understanding it's the critics are actually important to learn the pictures. I mean, learn the how to take a photo. At the same time, I used to see lots of photos in National Geographic, because for me, National Geographic is kind of when I started thinking about like I'm a pro photographer or something in from 2011 or so. I used to keep looking at National Geographic and I used to wanted to post the pictures there. And when I see those photos there, right, and also in 500px or even in 1x, whatever comments or whatever critique was given to my photo, I try to find those in those mistakes in the pictures posted there. 90% of the time, those pictures doesn't have those shortcomings. So I started understanding, okay, my picture is not there yet. I need to practice more. And slowly I started what you say, growing thick skin for these kind of critics. So it won't affect me anymore because it's I know that it's not a personal comments or personal attack. It's more about the photography. Even if the critic is towards a personal attack or anything, right? I still look into that picture and see If that picture has that mistake, okay, I try to remember it and try to not to make the same mistake next time.
Great, great. Thanks for sharing.
Awesome.
This was taken with a natural light. They were all sitting under the huts, under the shade, and the light was like, it was sometime in the afternoon, so the light was reflecting from various surfaces down.
But this doesn't actually look like having taken in the afternoon. This is phenomenal. The way you've controlled everything is awesome.
And this is one of the it was actually Andrew's suggestion, like the contrast. It's a bit slow shutter, handheld. The contrast between the flowing water and the color of the leaves. So what happened in 2016 or towards the end of 2015, right? I took this picture in December 2015.
I remember this picture a lot.
Yeah, and I posted in National Geographic, and the first time it was chosen as the picture of the Daily Dozen.
Daily Dozen, yeah.
Daily Dozen. Yeah, the first time. By this time in Click, right? At least I used to post one picture every day, and at least once a week I used to have a picture of the day. So it's becoming more common. And first time when a picture was chosen here in the Daily Dozen, right, I started thinking, okay, I need to find my pictures here more. Like I need to study the pictures here more. So I started concentrating more on National Geographic since then. This was the wider one. Both were published there.
So that's
And
just compliment. I know you would have probably received a lot more compliment, but to find order in this chaos, right, like you have done, it's amazing. And obviously your scene sets itself up, but most people would probably wouldn't think about framing it the way you have, I assume.
Yeah, after that it was very newly set up at that time. But after this, I think now it's become very popular, and every photographer who visits Bangkok, right, has to go here and take a shot. It became very popular after then. And these are the two photos that were printed or published most in many places for me, and also fetched me most of the money for these two. And even these photos, right, it was published in the National Geographic learning textbooks.
I think what I've seen so far is that you have a very natural eye, right? Just to find.
Yeah.
Right?
I wouldn't say that. It's more. What happens is I study the photos of all the others a lot. So whenever I study, right, what happens is I have very good memory. So I remember something, like if I see a scene, right, I remember a lot of elements from that scene. I may not take the same picture when I see another similar scene, but maybe in my subconscious somewhere, I think those are still there. So that's how I see probably.
I think what you are saying here is very, very important and very, very relevant, which I've seen most of the people not doing, and even me have been really guilty of not having done that, which is that probably seeking inputs, probably even studying images, but not implementing. So that is where things create a difference, because it's not only about understanding what somebody is talking about somebody's image. It's also not about understanding about why somebody is pointing out and giving you inputs. Not even important. Eventually, even if you find out that why somebody has created a particular composition the way he has done. But it is even more important, and I think it is the only important thing is that When you understand that, you start implementing them. That is where people miss out, I think, and that is where you have been really suddenly progressing very fast ever since you started realizing this in sometime in 2014.
Yeah, I think implementing is quite important, and it's not just about taking the critics, right? We need to also remember that and implement it. Only then there is a use for that critic. Otherwise, it's of no use.
Right, right, right.
So from here onwards, it's in the order, but I don't mention the year. This I went in 2016. I went to Chiang Rai with a group, and they organize the shot with the local people. So this guy is a popular monk there who teaches Muay Thai, I think, to the uh, the child monks, the novice monks. So this is one of the panning shots I was trying. I think later I converted this into black and white. I like the black and white more than the color version of this.
Okay.
I think the brown is distracting of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find the color one, but I think I posted the color one everywhere, if I remember. And this is the local hill tribes, their daily routines, right? They wake up early morning. Probably they will not wear all these costumes, right? It's that's their traditional one they choose for a festival. And the festival is completed, but we try to recreate the same. This is the morning time they cook the food. So I converted this into a black and white, one of the scene.
What time is it approximately, just to get an idea?
This was around 5:30. We reached there around 4 or so, and we started waiting for the light.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And this is once the sunrise, right? They have this. They made this and swing, and the children they play here. This was the picture which was published in the National Geographic Traveler magazine.
Okay.
From then on, I started posting these posting pictures into the National Geographic, and one of the editor actually sent me an email asking me about this because she know that about this festival, and she was looking to actually publish in the about this festival there.
Mm-hmm.
So she asked me about this picture, and I thought it will be free. They will not pay. After I send, they asked me to send the raw file, right? And once I send the raw file, I think a month later they mentioned that it will be published sometime after a couple of months, and they will pay 750 USD.
Wow.
So I was like surprised. And this is another picture which was published in the one of the assignments in the National Geographic. It's the same monk. They give the this monk where every morning he goes around and get the food. This is almost how it was from the camera. There was no change or anything much. The white balance was already warm. I don't think I did any much of processing for this picture.
Okay. This is fabulous.
And those that grass, whatever is there down, right? It was really glowing on that day. Then we went to the tea gardens.
Was this for some kind of shoot, or do they like pick the tea just like this, dressed up like this?
They won't dress up fully like this because we asked them. They dressed up fully. In general, right? They will not wear that headgear. This is the costume they will be wearing every day. The headgear is something which they will not wear often.
Because we have so many tea gardens in Assam. You'll never see people wearing dress like this, getting dressed up like this, and picking the tea leaves. Huh?
Yeah. It's more a conceptual cultural shoot.
I dressed up for Prasad.
I think I'll try this out here whenever
Yeah.
I'm able to move.
Local Madri, they won't. You're too local.
Here I was trying to compose in such a way that the background, right, those lines are like extension of her hair. This is again at the tribal village. They were taking bath.
Prasad, one question again.
Yeah.
I think barring me and Sandeep, probably, like even Jesse and then Himadri, they do it so well. How do you, like, especially in the tribal belts or even probably in the villages, how do you engage with the subject and convince them?
These people are actually used to tourists, so they are fine with taking photos. Usually in Thailand, right, you will never have any problem, right? You look at anyone with a camera and give a smile, they will smile back, and you can take a photo. It's quite easy if you say in Thailand. I didn't find like that in China. In China, it's very difficult. Even if you ask them, right, they will not reply back, and they will be very rude.
Okay. How do you do it, Himadri? Like, what's your technique generally? I don't know if you.
I see, as he mentioned, as Prasad mentioned, that it is very difficult in China. So in some of my travels, I have noticed that people are not very open towards getting photographed. What I try to do is I try to strike up a conversation, or I'd say, okay, your smile might look very beautiful. Could I see you smiling? So they'd laugh or they'd smile or they'd have a conversation, and then I'll gradually I'll start taking the photographs. So if you just go and directly point a camera at them, probably they'll pelt you with stones.
Yeah.
So that is one of my techniques. In certain cases, some people, they feel that if you take their photographs, you are taking away their soul. So that's why they do not like to be photographed. So and then that is one of the cases in Meghalaya, and that is also why you won't see too many people from Meghalaya getting photographed.
Thank you.
Here, when I was here, I think I interacted with most of these people, right? There was one girl in the colors, right? If you remember the portrait earlier, her clothes on the left side and the girl on the. So I interacted with her, and she was able to speak 4 or 5 languages like Chinese and French and all. So surprised, she was able to speak at least 4 or 5 languages.
That's interesting. And are they money minded? Do they ask money for
No,
getting
they
clicked
won't.
or no?
No, they won't.
Okay.
Most of these, some of the villages have tickets, right? You buy the ticket and go inside. Some of the villages are real ones.
Okay.
These are, if you see whatever they are wearing around this neck, right? It's almost weighs around 4 to 5 kg. And they start wearing this since they are young, very young. So nowadays, I think nobody is wearing this now. So even the portrait of the girl I interacted with, her mother told she has 2 more children. They will not be wearing this going forward.
Okay.
This is she was simply trying to wave off the dust on the clothes, and I captured. There was just hardly a few seconds for me to take this picture. It was an instant reaction.
Oh.
That's why some of the highlights are blown, but it was the moment I wanted to capture.
No, it's a beautiful moment that you captured.
This is it's called 1,000 holes because this place is like it's a mini Grand Canyon, right, in Thailand, and it's full of holes here. So me and another friend, we both went and to take pictures here, and there we met another group, and a few of them we asked to pose. It was not a great weather like we expected. We even tried to shoot a Milky Way, but because of the clouds, we couldn't catch the Milky Way here.
Very interesting landscape.
Yeah, this guy is actually carving a giant Buddha statue. This is the head he is working on. I was sitting in one of the hole to take this picture. It's in the picture it looks quite big, right? Actually, I couldn't stretch my both hands if I stand in this hole. And suddenly, when we were taking this picture in the morning, we suddenly saw like hundreds of monks were walking along, and most of them were barefoot. So we asked these guys who are locals, right? We asked them like what these monks are doing. They are going on a trip to some temple. They were walking along these rocks. And this is another trip I went with Thai photographers. This is a puppet show museum actually, and this guy is the owner of that museum. And I was really surprised. This guy actually traveled because shadow puppets, right? It's very common in many of the Asian countries, right? Even in India, we have a lot. So this guy actually traveled lots of places in India, and even he went to my state. So I was a bit surprised when I was talking to him. And he's preserving all that in the museum. This is also the puppet museum. And this is near to there. In the morning, we went like 5 of us. This is behind the resort. So we walked into this water. It's full of mud, and we were almost chest deep here, holding the camera out. This was most painful for me, right? It was like my back was hurting a lot. The water is moving, pushing to and fro, and the legs were stuck in the mud on the bottom. So the back was literally killing, and I was like, I thought I couldn't stand there for long. And after half an hour, one more boat came nearby. So I asked that guy to wait, and I was holding the boat and stood for like 10-15 minutes. And by that time, my back pain reduced, and I started feeling better. Then I started taking these pictures.
I can relate to that because I was also in a similar situation in Sonbil. Sonbil is in Silchar. So I was inside for like about 45 minutes. And that day I like came back with one of the worst back pains. It was back in 2014. 15, sorry.
I think the water movement, right? It was moving to and fro, and that's what was hurting the back a lot. But literally on the last day, I was not able to take any pictures because I couldn't stand long. The back was literally killing.
Most of these places would have a lot of photographers, or no?
They will have, but not always. It's a season. Like sometimes they will have. In Thailand, photography is actually a popular subject, right? Even a non-photographer will buy a DSLR and try to take photos. Even the normal travelers, right? They buy a high-end DSLR. Even before I got married, right? My wife used to have one small camera with which we used to take pictures.
Now
I thought she knows better than me at that time, right?
Now that gives me an interesting thought, and I think I should ask this. So ever since you picked up photography and you started improving, you started showing interest in all these, what was her reaction, and did she also wanted to anytime want to really get hooked on to photography, or no?
I think initial days she used to think about taking pictures, and initially it was she more interested than me. Like when we were traveling, right? She used to take more pictures than me, and most of her compositions used to be nice when I see them. She has that natural eye, but I think at some point she gave up, and she went into something else. Like every 6 months, she will have a different hobby, right? And she went into those. But she likes to travel, same like me. So we travel a lot. But there are times like she will not let me spend more time at the same spot.
Okay.
She will keep asking me, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, common story in every family. I can totally relate to that.
Not just family, Sandeep ji. Even if you go with non-photographer friends, the same thing will happen.
Okay.
These are all the photos I took from the water.
They're beautiful shots, beautiful shots. Your point of view is really very, very unique.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Immersive, extremely immersive.
Here I was trying to actually get that structure, texture on that water. It was literally like on a paper, right? It's like a sketch on the paper when I was seeing that.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Really good.
And you've also done a fantastic job of editing it. It's so with such a light hand, and everything is very well controlled. It's beautifully
There's been
processed.
quite a transformation as we move on his images from 2014 to till now, what he's showing, both in terms of composition and in terms of, simultaneously, parallelly, I think, in terms of the way he's been editing the images, post-processing the images. As you just mentioned, Sandeep ji, that with very light hand, and I think that's the right way to put it. And earlier images showed some hard kind of work on them, which has vanished now, even though he might still be resorting to similar kind of creating a balance between highlights and shadows, but now it is much more subtle and than it was in past. So that's really visible here in all his images.
This was at one of the fishing villages, right? I wanted to have these 3 generations. The kid was not there earlier, so I asked the kid to go and sit there. So he was just went there, and I took this picture. This is one of this popular dance there. It's there. These people are called Manora. I think Manora. They are very flexible, and they stretch their body quite a bit. This is one of the pier. It's that place is mostly Muslim, I think. So I captured this when the 2 girls were stopped. This is a long exposure. I asked him to actually move, but he was standing there. I wanted to create some moving effect, right? This is inspired from this the popular photographers like Henke. This is he was helping us to cut the trees, right? For us to do a shoot. That shoot was there. A couple was in the traditional clothes and they were dancing. So we thought of taking that shoot. This guy finished his work and he was sitting there, and he was smoking, and then I took a couple of shots, and when he saw me, he was laughing at me. This is another local place.
Wow.
This one, there used to be lots of buffaloes. I think they leave all the buffaloes there, and in the evening, right, they bring them back to their home. So we stopped these guys after I took this shot, right? We stopped them and asked them to, some of the guys in the group asked them to go again. But for me, the composition is actually the clouds, because the clouds were very different. So my composition is very different to anyone from the group.
I think your minimal approach here with a lot of clouds is really making it stand out.
Yeah, and I left the space on the left side because I thought the clouds are actually originating from the center. It looks more like they're coming from the center. So I choose to keep this frame. There were some people who suggested me to crop the left side, right?
I think you're breaking the rule in a way, or you're playing around and with the rule here seems to be working here well, I think.
Yeah, at that time I actually thought about both and made both, but I thought I felt this frame looks better just because of the clouds. And then I went to this elephant village, and the first picture I took there is this, and this was published in the National Geographic Daily Dozen.
Wow. So now also you, at this point of time, you also were shooting with 400D, or you had graduated to something better?
I bought a Canon 5D Mark II in end of 2014. It was a used one. I still use the same camera.
Wow.
When I was with 400D towards the end of 2013, my kit lens was broken, and I had this idea like I will be moving to full frame. So that's when I thought I bought a 1740 f4 L lens. So I thought when I move to a full frame, right, I can use the same lens for a wide angle. And when I bought this 5D Mark II, I bought it along with the 24-105 lens in a second hand. In Thailand, right, a lot of photographers, they change cameras quite often. So in the second hand market, right, you can easily get a lot of good gear. I bought this in 2014. That guy whoever sold me, right, the 5D Mark III came just a few months after he bought. So he wanted to get rid of that and get the new one. And I got it like very good deal. So I still use the same 5D Mark II and the same lens 24-105.
That's amazing. That's quite an input for all the guys who are into gear purchase mania kind of a thing, that every now and then you want to buy a new camera.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like 10 years ago, right? There was no, I mean, if you think like your camera is old now, think about people who were shooting in 2005, 2006. There was like hardly 10 megapixel cameras at that time. But the photos were always good.
10 megapixel, because I also started with 400D only.
Yeah. And this was the sunrise shoot. This is a popular place which is popularized by the local photographer Sarawat, and he arranged this shot. Everyone who goes there takes the same shot what he has. I always wanted to like whenever I'm in a group, right, I want to make sure that I'll make sure that I don't have this whatever shots I have, nobody else should have. Like even if there are 30 photographers, I should have at least few shots which are completely different and which anybody else haven't taken. Right. So they were using the tree completely from the other angle. So I moved to this side and try to compose these shots. And this was published in many places. And it was also one of the finalists in the National Geographic Traveler competition. Every one of them were more towards the right side and shooting from the other side. I was only the one shooting towards the sun.
Okay.
And this is some kids there playing in that village, right? It's I think traditionally it's a land of elephants there. And once the forest breaking the forest is stopped, right, most of these elephants are homeless. So what the government did is the local people, right, most of them, they will use them as a pets. So the government takes care of them, and almost every house will have a couple of elephants as a pet in their backyard.
Okay.
This is one of the shots where they were resting, and I showed this. The concept was very different. It was like elephant doctor. That's the concept they were shooting, but I was not interested in that concept. And when they were resting here, I shot this picture. And there was one place, Chinatown in Bangkok, where every October they have this festival. I think it runs for a week or 10 days, and those 10 days, every day they will have this opera. So we went there. One of my friend told me that we can actually go and take pictures in the background when they were doing this makeup. So me and my friend, we both went, and I took this. They were completely. I mean, if you go close to them, they will ask you to move away. But if you're standing far and taking a picture, they are fine with that. So this was I used the 70-200 f4 lens. Even sometime in 2015, you remember Subramaniam, right? He was also one of the Click admin. Yeah, he was selling his 70-200 because he wanted to buy 100-400 because he's a wildlife photographer. And just before that, I used 70-200 f2.8 from somebody, and it was so damn heavy. And I tried to shoot some indoor pictures, right? And my hands were literally shaking. So I thought f2.8 is not for me. I think f4 is enough for me because for travel pictures, right? I don't think 2.8 is not, I mean, used to much use. So I talked to him and I bought it from him. It's a used one. Till date, I still have that lens. So what I do is I use the 5D Mark II, and I have 1740 and 24-105 and 70-200. So those are the three lenses I always take with me when I travel. This is another one. I actually posted this in the National Geographic Your Shot. I was hoping this will be published, but this was not published. So I was disappointed. And in the Andrews group, right, whenever he see a nice picture, he will make that as a cover picture. So even before whichever pictures of mine were published in National Geographic, much before that, Andrew used to make them as a cover picture in that group. So this was made as a cover picture, and I was disappointed that it was not published. But this picture got published the next day in National Geographic.
Okay.
There was somebody put a kettle in front of him for a tea, and the smoke was coming from that kettle. So
Okay.
there was a bit of smoke I tried to capture, but I don't think it was that much visible. Like it's just
very slightly, very slightly. Tunnels.
I will be showing pictures from Guilin.
Okay. Now, one question, Prasad.
Yeah.
Most of these places, I believe, are tourist-oriented places, and they probably make money because of through tourism.
Yes. These guys say, for example, these fishermen, right? These guys stopped this fishing around 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever they do now is only posing for the photos and get the money.
Yeah. But even in previous places that you pay the fees and enter the village and you get the shoot done and all those things. What do you think, basis your experience, would be their condition right now in the middle of pandemic?
Actually, the say for example, the ones in Chiang Mai, right? It's all patronized by the government, and they have their own ways of earning money. For example, all of them, they actually make lots of pottery, and they even have rice fields in the behind the village, so they grow rice, right? They are not completely dependent on this money alone.
Okay.
These guys, I'm not sure what happened with the pandemic, but in China now, I don't think there is the life is not back to normal in China now.
Okay.
So here when we went, right, I was hoping for a nice sunset, but it was raining. This is like we need to go on to a small sand island here from the road. So these fishermen will come there and they will pose for us if you want. But the problem is the language. Like you ask them to stand in there, they will not understand. They will stand in the way they like, which I don't like that those poses, because they look like a very routine where everyone has the same shots. So this one, right, when suddenly it started raining, people who came with us, right, they all went and sat in the boat. I was the only one holding the umbrella through my armpit and trying to take the pictures in the middle of the rain. Even this was, it still was raining.
Now, can you, because we can't see, all we can see is thumbnails right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was in the middle of a heavy rain. And even the rain was still there, so I was just trying to catch different expressions of the bird. And this was when the rain stopped and the clouds cleared, we took it in the evening.
The birds are tied or what?
The birds are tied.
Okay.
Tied to the whatever raft he has. Is another one in the same series. I try to keep the temperature as warm, and wherever there is the yellow light, right, I use the warm temperature there. This was in the morning. This was he was not posing, he was just trying to go around. So I was trying to catch the bird in the top. And this is in the same place, but in a different scene.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And these are the fishermen was going along. They were going for some other shoot from somewhere for somebody else.
Okay.
I love this one.
And this one, it's the background which I have in this video, right? This place is actually popular for reflection of the mountain and the tree, the lone tree. But the week before there were floods there, and the water was so muddy, and it was flowing so fast. So I used an ND filter and tried to shoot a long exposure. And we went to this their house in the island, the fisherman house, and we went and shot around when they were doing their routine works. This is the previous one, but I made it as a black and white. This is after sun came out, so I used a 10 stop ND filter. And this is at the house, right? Everyone was shooting something else, right? I was just saw that light was nice, and he was playing with the bird, so I shot this and made it into black and white. I don't have the color version, but even I like the color version. Like both were looks good for me. And this is one of the popular place. I couldn't get much time because we were on the top of a hill and it suddenly rained, so we need to get down. So I just got one shot. This they were shooting for. I mean, they were posing for somebody else. So when we were walking, I just took some shots. Okay, I will return to the
presentation.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had multiple visits to these under construction tunnels in Shanghai. And I always wanted to, like, first time when I went there, right, I remembered the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth. I used to read that book when I was in high school, I think, or in college. And when I was inside the tunnel, right, and I just remember that movie. So I wanted to make something like a movie kind of posters, right? So I made this into a cool tone. So the white balance, I made it into blue color. And this was published in many places, even in National Geographic. So by this time, like National Geographic, I used to have publishing at least one picture every 2 weeks or so. And even the editor contacted me and asked me about my photography details, and published an interview also. And he also reviewed my profile and gave me some suggestions.
This was when did this happen? In which year approximately?
This was in 2019, the beginning of 2019.
That was the time they were planning to close down the.
Yeah, that was a few months before that, before
Yeah.
closing the Your Shot.
Yeah.
I think Your Shot was closed sometime in October or so, 2019.
Yeah.
This happened before that.
Okay.
Yeah, he was saying, like, whenever they are looking at any assignment or daily dozen photos, right? He said my name is popping up often, so he wanted to connect with me.
That's huge. Yeah. That's huge. Fantastic.
This is the same picture. I mean, same scene, just a different processing.
Beautiful work.
And this one I try to compose with a golden ratio. And this is a composite. When we did the steel wool, right? I remember this Doctor Strange movie, because this reminded me that. So as soon as I get back, right, I try to find another photo which I took in Shanghai and did this one.
Good one.
Yeah, it's a good conceptualization.
And this was a selfie. I put on a tripod and took because everyone was busy taking their own photos. The next time I went, right, I met with this girl in one of the shoots, and she was not actually posing for that photos there, because whoever is taking photos of her, right, they were just taking, they were putting some lights like a fairy and sitting on a rooftop and taking photos. So she said it's not her style, and she asked me like, why you are not taking photos? I said, even this is not my style. Then she's told me that she likes something adventurous type. So next time when I actually have the access to this tunnel, right, I messaged her and asked her if she can pose if she can come to this. Then she said she will come, but she's in another town. She just came to Shanghai just for taking the photos, these photos. And she asked me like what she should dress up. I told something like this, and she came up with this costume. So it's like a Tomb Raider Lara Croft theme. And there was another girl, others were taking this photo. I just took it, and I like the colors, so I just processed it. And this was with the light painting. This is another place called Xiapu in China. It's a fishing village. It's very popular. Most of these, right, say for example, the fisherman in Guilin, and the long neck ladies in Chiang Mai, and even the Xiapu. All of these, right, I have actually seen documentaries in National Geographic. So all these places are very much interested for me, because I've seen those documentaries in National Geographic. So this I shot from mountain. For this trip, I got a 100-400 Tamron lens.
This is like painting. This doesn't look like an image.
Yeah, sun was on the opposite side, right? So the water was shining.
This reminds me some of TJ's work as well, Jesse.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was just thinking whose work, and you just named it. Yeah, very much.
The light management is amazing. I think this was like a high contrast scene, right? During
yes, it's a high contrast scene around 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon. The sun was in the opposite side, and I couldn't actually see from with my eyes because the water is shining so much.
Beautiful.
And this is a popular place. I just try to change the color these days, right? Last year or so, I see lots of people in the Instagram and start trying these different color tones, split toning and all. This is another place where I think there is another photo which I took in the morning, and this is in the evening, right? The water all receded. These are the bamboo sticks, right? They dry the seaweed on these bamboo sticks. Okay. So they tie it. This is not the season, right? Sometime in December is the season where they will tie those seaweed on these bamboo sticks and dry them. Yeah, we were waiting there. Actually, I thought water will be there and sunset will be there, but it was cloudy and water was not there. Just when we thought we will leave, I saw this guy collecting fish in that water. This is another shot which was published in many places, and also this was one of the finalists in the National Geographic yearly competition.
This is superb, man.
It is also high contrast scene. The sun was coming from the opposite side and reflecting from the water that is receding into the sea.
Did you wait for this guy to turn up, or this was like
these guys? I think somebody would have paid them, so these guys are everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, we just need to find an angle or something where you don't have others in the frame. And there are lots of tourists also. This is a beach actually.
So I might have missed it. Where did you take the shot from? Like, was it using a drone or Because this looks like a high point.
This is from a bridge. There is a mountain, and from the mountain, the water is coming and flowing into the sea here. So there is a small bridge at that place. So we shot it from the bridge.
And what was the focal length like, just to understand the distance?
I think it's maybe I was using 100-400 mm, so it might be somewhere around 300 or so.
Wow. This is too good. Oh.
This is another method of fishing, right? They collect these small shrimp which get stuck in these nets. So in the evenings, right, the water actually goes up to the top. If you see, there is a line here.
Yeah.
So water reaches up to this point. And the small fish will be stuck in this, small shrimps and prawns, right? They stuck in this. And these guys will collect when the water recedes. This is the same one which I changed the color before, right? I converted all the green into a kind of fall scene.
Yeah.
Here also, I went back and was trying to move around to find the spot where I get this sun star. By this time, I actually also got this Fuji X-T2. So this was shot with Fuji X-T2 kit lens. So now I shoot both with Fuji X-T2 and the Canon 5D Mark II. This is the same spot. This was in the morning. The one you saw before is in the evening.
Okay.
In the morning, water was full and all the boats were going around.
Very interesting, yeah.
So here I was trying to get this S-curve, so I was waiting for this boat to make this full turn and then shot. This is the same scene as before. I just tried to convert it into black and white. There is a small village. I think there is a ticket and they will be doing some show here. So here I shot this. This is actually at 5 o'clock or so. I wanted to give this silhouette kind of thing. So the background, I changed the colors. It's the same, the fishing one. This one is actually like a small village on the water. And we were like very far. I was using a 400 mm here. And I saw that this guy is actually going from this corner. He's collecting something and walking around here and dropping it somewhere here. So after 3-4 times, I noticed he is crossing here. So I was waiting till he comes here and shot this.
Okay.
It's the same, though, when the wind blows these nets, right? It actually looks very nice. This is one, actually, it's 2 photos. One I took when I was in the high-speed train. I saw this girl who was on the opposite side in the train, just playing with the glass. I just took that shot. And next day when I was in the park, right, I remember I just took this shot and I remember like I think this will be a good scene here, so I just merged into one. So it's a composite, a kind of double exposure. Okay, I think in 2018 I just went for a short trip to Japan. Half of it was like a trip with my wife, and the remaining half I joined with a group. So this one, I just woke up in the morning and walked almost 3 kilometers to reach here and take the photo at the sunrise. I didn't have much time because it seems that it's a private place. After I put the tripod and take a couple of shots, a guy asked me to leave that place.
You got a beautiful cloud and sky, and
yeah, after a few minutes, right, it was full of cloud and it was about to rain. So I
okay.
also couldn't take pictures after that. I was looking for a foreground element here, but I couldn't find. There was a boat, but it was completely in a different direction. This was in the middle of the night, and we went there in winter, so it was like minus 17 or so.
Oh.
It's just like 5 minutes walk from the hotel. So I put an alarm and woke up around 12 and went there. It was literally freezing, and this is a 15-minute shot, single shot using the Fuji X-T2. I could have, if I had time, right, I could have actually took a shot to remove these blown highlights. And since I wanted to wake up for sunrise also, right, I hurried to go back, and I was alone and I was a bit scared there. This is on the way to I think Nagano Prefecture. We stopped by to take the picture Fuji, which is popping through the clouds. This is another place. I have most of my Japan pictures in the other hard disk, which I couldn't open. So I just showing whatever I have in this laptop. Yeah, the trees are quite long, so I just wanted to use the human figure as the scale. Here I put a flash there, so the light is actually a flash.
Okay. At the ground in the snow.
Yes, on the ground, on the snow. Yes. This was at this popular snow monkey place resort. This is one more place which I used to see in the National Geographic documentaries and wanted to go here always. I should admit, like when I was there, I was completely blank. I actually was not sure what to shoot because there were so many people, and the monkeys were everywhere but not in water. It took a long time, and there was one moment where some of the monkeys came into the water, and this is one shot I got. This was it was sitting in another place, and for almost we were there 2 hours, and all the time the monkey was looking in the same direction, either sleeping or looking at something other side. So here I think I used this 100-400 lens.
Very interesting expression that you captured here.
This was published in the National Geographic Daily Dozen.
Obviously, this is wonderful image.
This is the Churito Pagoda, which is a popular place, especially in the cherry blossom and all. Here I try to find a different composition, tight one, because it is so popular. I wanted to find a completely different one. So here I try to go close and contrast with the temple bells and the Fuji mountain. This is there is a small village actually, and this village, right, most people are old people. All the younger generation are no more living at the villages. They are all moving to the towns or cities, and in these villages mostly the old people are there. So what these people did is they make these houses like a museum, like for tourists. So here this place you can buy the ticket and go into the house, and these old ladies were showing us around. They were keep telling about all the history of their parents and grandparents, etc. The popular photo here is the old lady will come and sit at the tea and try to blow. blow that whatever it is. I took that shot, but that is you can find that everywhere in the internet. So here, since the light is towards the left side, right, when that lady was coming towards the left from the left side, I took this shot. And this is at the Fushimi Inari temple. My wife was like, the day we arrived at Kyoto, she wanted to wear this kimono and wanted to take photos. Finally, we managed to do that in one of the afternoons. So this was it's very difficult to take the pictures here because the tourists are everywhere. You
That's what I wanted to ask, that how could you manage this?
Yeah, you get only few seconds at some point to take these pictures, right? And those are the few moments where I got this picture. This is another one. Again here, every now and then, like every time I wanted, I pointed the camera and to take a shot, somebody will come. So there was few seconds where nobody was there and we took this shot. And once we finish the day and we were returning, waiting for the metro, she was just standing there and looking at the train. I took this slow shutter. This was published in the National Geographic Photos of the Week on the Women's Day.
Wonderful.
She initially didn't like this picture because she looks tired and all, right. But once it's published in National Geographic magazine, then she was very happy. This is the famous snow village. Okay, let's move on to the photos in Shanghai, which I took mostly in the last couple of years, in 2018 and 2019. This is one of the earlier picture when I went to Shanghai. I took this. I was just walking around, and me and my colleagues, we went to a restaurant. That's when I saw this tunnel, and I thought, okay, we can here I can get these lights. And next time I took a camera and went here and took this picture. The buildings are so tall, right? Even with 1740, they cannot fit here. So I thought I will take a Vetorama for here. But then when I was moving that, I felt like a tilted frame will be better here. So I took this tilted frame. It's a single shot. This is another place which is known for its architecture. It's a Soho architecture. Its architecture is designed by a popular one. I forgot the name. She's a very popular architect. She's no more. But in China, right, most of the cities' buildings are actually designed by her. This is one of them. The place where I am standing here, this place is actually a fountain. And it rained the previous day, so the water was locked here, and they didn't switch on the fountain. And when we were there, and me and my colleague, we put the tripod, right? The guys, security guys, came and said we cannot use tripod. So my friend left. What I did is I just put the camera on the floor, close to the water, and took this shot.
Amazing. Love this.
This is another one from a rooftop. I passed this area from the bottom couple of times. Later, I tried to explore those buildings around, and one of the shopping mall, we can actually go to the top and shoot this. This is a popular shot from the Bund. It was raining actually, and the clouds were so low we cannot see the other towers, which is the second tallest tower in the world. This is a Nagpur bridge. Literally, when the bus was going on this, I was a bit scared. When it was going round, right, I felt a bit scared. The next time I went to the rooftop and tried to shoot this, it looks actually amazing. But
Beautiful.
if you travel on this in a taxi or taxi or car, I didn't find much. Bus maybe because it's in a higher, you will be sitting on a higher position, right? I was a bit scared when it was going round on the edge. This is another place where we just explore. What we used to do is, me and my friend, we just used to check the map and see which place can have a good view and try to explore those buildings. So this building is a hospital, so we could go up, but the rooftop is locked. So what we did is we took from the window. The window was open, so we took the shot from the window.
Prasad, sorry to interrupt, but I love this shot because the sky is actually cut out, right? So this is so closed, you feel that you're part of the scene.
Yes,
right?
Yeah,
when I actually shot it, I shot with the sky because it was a blue hour. But when I decided to process this way, I thought sky doesn't look nice in this.
This is like I'm popping out of the window, right? So typically, if you pop out of the window in a high sky-rise area, then this is exactly what you typically see.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
This is again another bun shot. We wanted to shoot. I wanted to shoot a picture for one of the competition in my office, and this lady, she's my colleague, and she said we can take balloons and go to the bun and take some shot. I was actually not sure like what exactly we will take when we go to the bun, and so we were there, and we bought a pump and we bought the gas cylinder, and we took the balloons there. We pumped the gas there, and then she said, I will walk like around here. Suddenly I noticed a kite fell in front of me, this eagle kite. This kite is actually belongs to that guy who is there in the right side. So there was only one shot where I got this kite. I was actually waiting for the girl to go one more step front so that the tower, the Pearl Tower also is visible. But the next shot doesn't have the kite. So I just settled for this shot. And this was also published in National Geographic. And also I won the GoPro as a prize in the competition for this shot.
Wow.
This is another day. I conducted a photo walk with the China photography group. I was one of the admins in the China photography group. And that day it rained suddenly, and again the rain stopped. These guys, they do these exercises every day. Mostly old people. First they will do a Tai Chi, and then with the sword, and then with the fan. So that day I think they didn't do with the fan, they just did with the sword. And this was also published in the National Geographic Your Shot. This is another day. One of my friend came from India, so I took her to take photos around on the bun. So this is another day, and this time they were doing Tai Chi. So I wanted to shoot something different than the previous times. So I shot this. I was literally lying on the floor for this shot. This is from a rooftop. It's almost impossible to go on a rooftop at the bun. But one of my friend, my colleague's friend, she knows some high politician in Shanghai, and she used to get access to most of these tunnels and the rooftops. And she took us to this. This is a hotel. On the top of the hotel, we took these shots. This was before the sunrise, and this is just when the sunrise. Before this is also before sunrise. This was earlier shot when the lights are still on. This is more a routine shots when we do in Shanghai. Most of the friends, right, they wanted to take photos on the rooftops. This is the same spot I was telling before, right? My friend and me went there, and when they said no tripod, right, he gave up and he went around. So I asked him to go and stand here. There is an airport nearby, so there were flights always landing from this side. So this is another composition from the same building. This is the other side of the building. I saw those kids playing down there, so I was waiting for them to come in the middle, and when they came in the middle, I took this shot. This is the same shot, same place as this one.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
this is from the through the glass. The first time I went, I shot it through the glass in a shopping mall.
Very, very different kind of architecture that there is.
Yes, yes.
Very interesting, very different.
This is another one. It's a swimming pool building. So inside it's all swimming pools. The water wasn't still just for a few minutes probably. I was there for almost 2 hours. The water was always moving, right? So there was one time where I got the water still, and it's a handheld shot. This is another shot from the popular bridge. I tilted this photo so that it will have a different feel. Without the tilt is a very normal shot you will find everywhere in the online. This is also one more close-up shot of the Nanpu bridge. Here what I did is I tilted in this way so that if you just look at it, it doesn't look like a bridge unless you look at it closely.
Mm-hmm.
This is one more place. This is a building on top. On the ground floor is the first floor, and ground floor is a police station. They usually will not allow you. Just walk in like you live there and shoot from the window. There was once the guard stopped me and asked me where you are going.
That's a good trick.
Yeah. Once the guard stopped me, he asked where you are going. I said some floor number. He didn't say anything. This is from the other side of the bun. This is again Nanpu Bridge from a different angle on a different day. This is one apartment which the girl in the picture, right? She told me like there is one apartment where she wants to take pictures. I keep avoiding because in general I don't like to take model pictures. I mean, I'm not good at it, so I normally avoid. So I was avoiding for almost couple of months, and once she forced me like we need to go today and take these pictures. So when I went there, I was really surprised with the architecture and all. So these are this is after there are lots of picture for people who went there and took pictures, but this is a unique composition which I haven't seen anyone took it.
And from which floor were you at?
She is actually lying on the 20th floor, and
Okay.
I was around 40th floor, I think.
Oh,
I used I think 105 mm. I remember 24-105 lens. I was using at 105. Is another rooftop I went, and here I try to use this orange teal look because there are so many details. This is another one which is the same girl who was there in the previous picture. And this place I used to pass in the metro every day. I used to see this place. The buildings are old buildings which were bringing down, so I thought one day I need to go and take pictures. Right, by the time I have time and went here, the buildings were all down already. So I come up with this theme where it's like some kind of sci-fi theme. So I gave the teal look. This is another place. It's actually quite small if you see. It's a shop. Every day I used to pass next to this shop to go to badminton, but I never noticed that we can take a picture here. One day I went in the opposite direction, and then that's when I noticed this in the night. So the next time I asked this girl if we can go here, and she came and we took this picture. The railing she's the standing, right, it's very thin actually, and it was also moving a bit. She was leaning back on those lights, and there was few seconds she didn't lean. I think that's when I took this shot, and I used the 17 mm here. So that's why it looks a vast building, right? Actually it's not so big. This is another rooftop shot just in an evening. There used to be a lot of groups, like if the sky is nice, the colors are nice, right, people will be on the rooftops. And this was like 60th floor, and I'm always scared of heights, but after a while, right, I get used to the heights. I started going onto these rooftops. This is a building which is has a different architecture. I went here once and I took some photos, but I was not satisfied, and I felt like a ballet dancer will be good here. And later in the photo groups, I found a ballet dancer, and when I asked her we can take a photos here, she agreed, and we took some photos here. This was with 17 mm, I think.
You have some eye for even visualizing that you need a ballet dancer here and not somebody else, and finding all those right kind of people or models, and then going back again, creating images. It is phenomenal.
It took almost 3 months for me. I thought no, I couldn't find anyone. Suddenly she posted in the group some photo of a ballet dancer. So I asked if this is you. She said it's her cousin, but even she is a ballet dancer. She actually lives in Canada. She just came to Shanghai that for 1 month.
Okay.
This is another shot. Lots of Instagram people, right? They go around. So I was going around with them, and this was a series. I call it as a split, because the mask. I don't know that they are going to bring this mask. So when they are taking pictures, I felt like, because the building behind is also having two different colors, right? So I thought this is better, and I asked one of the person to go and put the light in the back, hold the light on the back side. It's the same series, same day. We were just walking around, and this is in camera double exposure.
Okay.
This is the scene I was taking, right? This is in the back. Just if I turn 180 degrees, this is the scene.
Okay.
So I took this shot, and I was just turning back, and then I felt like I can do a panning shot here because the lights are nice in the background. And I was lucky, like this guy with all this delivery guy, right? He came up here. If it's an ordinary bike, it will look normal, I feel. This is one more Soho building, which is popular for this architecture, right? They put these LED strips in the lift area. So I went with this model. They're actually not real models. They're all just normal girls who likes to take photos. So if you see here, you can see the lights, like how they put these light strips. And here I did this double exposure.
Wow. What a shot.
They were like, the girl, I mean, there were 3 other people with me. They were wondering what I was taking. I took a shot and asked her to come and stand, and I took. And when I show them, right, from next time onwards, they were taking lots of double exposures everywhere. This is another place I just try to use the lights. It's a kind of sci-fi poster I wanted to make. This is from a rooftop in the night. This is the daytime shot. This one also is published in the National Geographic your shot.
Very interesting shot. Very different kind of a shot.
Here I purposefully made the background in the rest of the shot in the cooler tone, and only she is in reddish tone. This is from the same shot with the ballet dancer. This is an exhibition. It's a kind of exhibition. This ball, they put fill ink in it, and it keeps moving around and just makes the lines. I don't know what is the theme, but when I was there, I already imagined like I am going to invert this image. So I was waiting for the ball to be in a position where the inverted image will look better. And here too, lots of people. So I need to literally wait like 10-15 minutes and ask somebody if they're going right. I need to ask them to wait and then take this shot. This is another exhibition, a kind of light show. The lights will be moving. This is one of the most difficult places to shoot because your flash is not allowed and the light is not enough. I was already at 6400 ISO. This is another one. I put the camera on the floor and shoot because tripod is not allowed. This is actually a LED screen of the waves moving around. So I used a slow shutter a bit and took this shot. This girl actually came with me, but someone else, another guy is taking her photo from the front. So she is actually posing to the photographer in the front. It's again the same place with the light show. It's like water falling down, but I think it doesn't have that effect in the photo. I just saw this girl with school uniform costume and holding that bear. This is another rooftop. This is like I was on 60th floor, I think. The earlier shot I told, right? There is a police police office in the ground floor. These are the two buildings.
Okay.
So in the windows from here, right, we can take this shot where this stretch will be in the picture.
Okay.
Here I was just experimenting with the tones. This is more of recent experiments I am doing. This is literally my last shots in Shanghai. The day before we are leaving Shanghai, right? This apartment, I know this apartment, but we cannot go inside because this is a Japanese people apartment, and it will have very strict guidelines. And I know a friend from Japan, right? So I asked her if she can take me to this building. She said one of her friend lives there, so she will take me. But we postponed it for a long time. So the day before I was leaving Shanghai, I asked her again, and she took me here. It was very different architecture.
Excellent. Very different.
This was almost 40th floor, I think, or 30th floor. Yeah. This is another one. It's a bar. I just shoot because she asked me to take pictures here. I thought the texture is nice. This is the same building, the Japanese building here, right? But somewhere lower floor. And she said she will pose, and she went there and posed like this. This is another one, the same building as this one. Just had a shot. This is all handheld because they don't allow tripod and no flash. This is, I think, one of my earlier shots. I was not satisfied with this, but they closed this place because they were doing some construction, so I couldn't get another shot here. This is another small rural village. I think I shown this before.
Yeah, I think in the panel discussion that we had.
Yeah. So I was there till like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, till the sun came up and the fog cleared. I think this is the most popular one there. There were mountains in the background because the fog has covered it here. Only after a while it revealed them. And I think few more shots I will show from. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah.
Okay, this is a city called Chongqing. I just saw one person standing there, so I just took this shot. There is an old tea house there, so I went to that old tea house. It's like a very old building, and it gets quite busy from morning 5:30 onwards. So these guys comes there and have tea and plays lots of games like cards and different kind of traditional games. So these are all old guys. Some of them said no to the camera, so I didn't take the shots. And so they always have somebody who comes and sits with these costumes. I don't know why.
Okay, they just sit there like this.
Yeah.
What an interesting place this is.
Yeah, this is the kitchen. So this is one type of cards. I shot all these in black and white in the Fuji X-T2.
Okay.
So this guy was sitting in the same position without moving almost like a half an hour or so. This is another, the Chongqing architecture is quite different because it's full of mountains, right? If you go to one of the building and go to the top floor of that will be the ground floor for the next level, the next building. So from there, if you see, you feel like you enter into a different place. And that's where I have seen also the world's longest escalator. It's almost like 400 meters or so, the escalator, and felt a bit scared, and I couldn't take my camera out at that time. So once I come up to the top, right, this is the bridge I composed. I just try to use the different lines, but it was raining, so I couldn't take much shots here. This is the airport, just outside the airport in Chongqing. This is an old bookstall. I read about this, so I tried to find this and went there. And there were some few girls who came here and want to take the photos of them. So they were posing for the pictures, and I took some of the shots. And this one, I asked her to, they were taking all the photos like this, right? I asked her to lay back and use the newspaper on her head. So this was my composition.
Very interesting places that you've been to. This is
the guy said we can take photos if we just buy a book. So one book was like 100 rupees or so.
I would have bought 2 books.
And this is another place. It's a bookstore. It's actually quite small. In the pictures, it looks huge, right? Actually, it's quite small.
Because of use of mirrors and all?
Yeah, I think the top is mirrors. Because of the wide angle, right? It looks quite huge, but it's very small. At first, it's in a shopping mall. At first, I read about this and I thought I wanted to go there. When I entered inside, I thought maybe I was in a wrong place. So I thought, okay, let me just go around, and I went inside. Then it lead to in this room, and this is like two stories, I think, like a duplex. This is from the other angle. These are all real books. There is another library or bookstores in Beijing. These are pictures. I mean, books are not real, but these are real books. And this is a temple. It was very beautiful, like just for the naked eyes, right? It was so beautiful. And I bought a balloon which they are selling outside, and I used that balloon to create the light in front of the model there. So I switched the camera on timer, ran there, and waved the balloon around her. This is another building. I think it's an architecture, some architecture building, which is like they designed it's made of a chopsticks. So here what I did is I tried to create a kind of double exposure for the building. So that's it for Chongqing, and I'll just go to the last one.
There's a question from Puneet on YouTube that you manage highlights very well in Urbanscape night shots. Any quick tips? Do you do bracketing or something else?
Yeah, I do bracketing.
Okay.
I do bracketing. Most cases I do bracketing.
Great.
Can you see my screen? The monks.
Yeah.
So this is in Myanmar. It was a short 3-day trip. Me and my wife went, and few other Thai photographers. So this is handheld. Because they were moving, I couldn't use a tripod, and I was also standing on one of the wooden bridges, right? So tripod was not convenient. So I just used the high ISO and took this shot. And this is another one. It's a quick shot. The lights was much, so the Milky Way was not good enough. And this is the same place. And this is in the market in the morning. Like every day they will be in a different place. So the guide actually called them here to this place on that day. So there is a small like a wooden thing here, like you see here in this side, right? Similarly, there is a small wooden house here near the edge of the lake. So they come around that, and people buy from that platform. So it was all handheld. I think these are shots with.
Wow, the stop angle is beautiful.
Yeah, this one I think with Canon.
Okay.
I took few shots.
These are amazing.
From the top, actually, it gives a good contrast and
very nice perspective.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is these are the clothes actually they wear, local people, right? So they make the clothes by themselves. So in most of the place, in one place, one village, right, they will dye these clothes, and in another village they will do the drying. So we went around these villages and went to their house. This was from their house we took this picture.
Okay.
This is the famous fisherman in Inle. This is a single shot. uh, we need to train the fishermen a lot. After 5 6 shots, they got it right. So
And what was
those
the
lights in their hands, right, we asked them to switch off after a few seconds. They couldn't understand. After that I started counting, like when I said 3, they will switch off the lights.
And what was the exposure time for this?
20 seconds.
20
We
seconds.
actually put the camera in the water, tripod in the water. We were sitting in the boat.
Oh, man.
This is another shot again in the, I think this was a morning shot. This is again from a bridge. This is the house which is opposite to that, where they are hanging them from the top.
Okay.
Inlay is actually amazing. Like I like to go there again.
Lovely shot.
This is like a small mangrove. We asked these guys to pose for us. The problem is we need to go in the boat and stand on one of these mangroves. So for this shot, I actually got into the water. Only me and a couple more guys, we got into the water. Like the rest of the people were standing on the mangroves. I was a bit scared if there will be leeches or anything else, right? Because the water looks so dirty. And these were the monks. The tree is very old, like it's gigantic. So we did some shots here with these kids. This is the car light coming from the front. So these are some more shots from the floating market. There was a fishing net. We were just I was holding the net with one hand and shoot this from the other hand. This is the like in the previous one, right? If you remember, they were drying these clothes.
Yeah.
So I was in their house, and I just called hello a couple of times. She turned back and then looked at me and smiled. So I just took this with my 7200 f4. These are the regular fisherman shots from Inle.
Beautiful.
I wanted to keep those blue tones and contrast this orange, even in the Guilin fisherman, right? That works well. I think these are the morning shots. Is also from the bridge. She was actually rowing quite fast. This is the place where they do the dyeing and hang them. I think by the time I asked her to wait and shoot this, right, she was aware of the camera and started smiling. This is the same shot, same place. Earlier one I was in the water, right? For this one I climbed high onto the one of these mangroves, right? You can see on here. Similar ones, I climb and took this from the high. I like this one because the composition is there was a boat with all the nets tied, so I used that and took this shot. A boat like this, right? I was when it moved, it was tied to the pier, So when it was moving, I used that. This is at a farm nearby. This was in the morning. The light was actually beautiful in this place.
These are again from.
It's all from Myanmar.
Okay.
This is again from that tree. It's a very old tree and quite huge. I took some close-ups also. I think that's it.
Oh, it's been some real amazing set of images that you've shown.
There are few images I missed because they are stuck in my old hard disk, which I couldn't open today. Probably sometime later I'll post them in the group.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see them. So I don't know. I have few questions before that.
Yeah.
Let me just open it to the panelists. If Sandeep or Som wants to ask anything, Himadri wants to ask anything. And guys in the YouTube, if you have any questions, please throw them around.
I have one particular question. The color scheme that you have in your daylight and most of the travel images, that is starkly different to the color scheme that you have of the night time, like the light trails or the tunnel ones. So what's the reason behind it, and how are you able to juggle between the two?
I actually don't have a particular style, right? I just see when I'm shooting it, there are few of the images which I will visualize what how I'm going to present them, and there are images where I take it one by one. For the same scene, if you take 5-6 images, right? I process them at different times, and everyone will look a bit different actually if you observe.
Right.
I normally don't have a particular style. It all depends on my mood at that time and how I'm reading that image at that moment.
Okay, thanks.
Interesting, yeah. Anybody, Sandeep ji, Som?
No, I think I'm good.
No, but, I mean, it's been such a fascinating journey, and I think you're one of the rare photographers we have had who actually portray us the secrets of Southeast Asia, right? So we haven't really covered that. Like it's been Europe and US for the most part. So I think New Zealand as well, you've covered that extensively. So I think today was like a phenomenal session. So how do you do your scouting for Southeast Asia? What are the tips? Right. So,
because I lived in Thailand for 9 years now, 9 years, and in China for 3 years, right? So 12 years, I'm mostly based in that part of the world. So there are some which lots of travel tourists who are interested in those places goes there, and there are some photos I see from the photo groups and try to go, and some of the locations I remember from my whether I would have seen them in National Geographic documentaries, or I would have read about them in some in-flight magazines or so. And still there are so many places I wanted to go but haven't completed, just in those in this place, in this part.
Next year onwards, I think you can get back.
I always used to think like maybe post 2021 I will concentrate on the west side. So until then, let me finish on the east.
It's one phenomenal set of images that you've shown. You are one photographer which I have come across who has taken travel photography to a different level, because you just don't take snapshots. I've said this in earlier, not snapshots is not the right word. You just don't document the place for the sake of it, and you go beyond that, and that is what makes you very, very unique, and your images really stand out. I've also noticed one thing in your images is that you have not been shy of posing people, creating posed and set up images. Um, has that been your thought from right from the word go, or you eventually over a period of time decided to get comfortable with this kind of
Even now, I'm not actually comfortable. Some of these, some of them is okay, but most of them, right? Even say, for example, the ballet dancer, right? I actually didn't ask her to pose because I don't know what steps will be there in a ballet dancer, right? Or how the so I just asked her to be herself and dance around there, and then I started picking up some of the poses and shoot. So all those pictures I took actually are when she's actually dancing. It's not like when I ask her to pose. And same case with a lot of these, right? Uh, when they are taking a break or when they are more natural or casual, that's when I took lots of shots. Only shots I took in Shanghai is like the posed ones, right? That's more the model choice. A few times I will ask them to stay in this particular pose or so, but most often I'm not comfortable. Like directly taking a picture of a model is not. I'm not comfortable with. I don't know. I don't know what pose to ask for or anything. So it's more about the thought at that moment, like what you feel based on the environment and all.
Okay. Now another question that I have in mind is that it's one thing knowing about a place. It's totally different thing going there and finding the right photography spots to create composition. So, do you always take inputs from people, or do you always take some photography kind of a guide along with you? How does it go about? How do you go about it?
I will first research about the place and I will see like if there are any popular photos taken in that place. So my next goal is I shouldn't replicate that. I shouldn't take that photos. So I look for them because I just want to be different. There are cases where nothing else is possible, so you just have to take the same shot. But most of the time, right, there are always different possibilities. So I research about the place. I try to find what other photographers have done there before, and once I am there, first thing is I must enjoy the travel. I need that's my first motive, right? So I need to enjoy the travel. So first thing is I will do that first, and then I will start thinking about taking photos. So probably when I'm looking for the travel interest and the travel that when I'm enjoying my travel, maybe that's when I notice something which I may not have noticed if I just go there just for photography.
Very interesting.
So one question, Prasad, is when you're taking portraits, do you ever use artificial lights? Do you use flashlights or anything else?
There are a couple of times I used, I think I missed those photos. There are a couple of times I used an LED light, but it's not common. I just used a couple of times because there is no other way there. But I don't like to use
By
the
LED,
lights.
you mean continuous lights?
Yeah, continuous light.
Okay.
Portable LED, small panels.
Yeah, small panel. Yeah, just charge. You have the battery, charge it. It's there for a few hours.
Okay. Very interesting.
That's more convenient to carry and use rather than a flash.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's quite cheaper.
Yeah.
And these
And it's
lights,
good
right?
for
You can
lighting
even
up foregrounds.
you can even adjust the light intensity on that, and you can even adjust color on
Fine.
that. Some color you can make
You
it
can
warm
also
color,
light
and
up
you
the
can
foreground with.
yeah, that's also one more advantage.
There's one question from Ramamurthy Palaniraman on YouTube that what about your plan about inland photographs from India? So Do you have any plan? Have you done some kind of?
I started learning photography after I moved to Thailand, right? And every time I come to India, is just I need to go home and visit my parents and stay. Like if I stay like 1 week or 10 days, right? I need to stay there. Even now, my mom is not there, but my father, right? Even now, he doesn't understand what is photography or what I'm doing. He still thinks like I'm wasting money. So I always, whenever I used to come, right, I used to go home and spend time there, and I never thought, and I always used to think India is like I'll be here at some point, right? So I can anyway go at some point in my life, go around. So it's always there. Someday I will do it.
I think one shoot that you did just when the pandemic was kind of it started was with Sriranj, right?
Yeah. We actually
It
planned
was
with
quite
the
an
Thai
experience.
group. We actually planned with the Thai group, but because of the flights cancellations and all, they didn't make it. But I went there, but I was not satisfied with, because it's my first time there. Though Sriranj was actually guiding us very well, the things happen so spontaneously, right? You need to see there and understand the rituals and all, and I think you need at least 2 visits there to
Yeah,
start
to
photographing.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Even Sriranj was telling, even for him, right, he went so many times, even he finds something new happening there every
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But you need to at least visit once to get used to that atmosphere and all, and then take good shots. We took photos like 3 days or so. We were there and took shots, uh, but the main event we missed, the fire one, fire Tayam.
Mm. All right, all right.
I was not very happy with my shots. There were few good shots, but in general, I think I could have done better. I mean, so
I
maybe I
think
will
you're
go next
right.
time.
I think you're right. In all such places and events, you need a second time minimum
Yeah,
second time to
yeah.
understand. Because I remember my first visit to Pushkar, and I just struggled there. And second year is when I could start understanding the place and taking. So I think this is a very natural phenomena.
Yeah, but this place is like amazing, like those Theyyam, the atmosphere, and the music rings here even after you return back to the hotel, right, or the room. The music will be ringing in your ears.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. I think one last question that I would have is a technical part. I don't even know, I should ask that or not. You are the one who's moved from the crop body to the full frame and again to the crop body in terms of Fuji.
Yeah.
So, and you've been taking a lot of night shots with Fuji, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong.
Yes.
And what has been your experience in terms of its ISO performance? I'm not trying to talk about Fuji in particular, because people have this notion who are always on crop body that they have to get on to the full frame. Only then they will be able to take good shots. So just to understand the thought.
It's actually I don't find any difference if it is a Canon crop body, right? I think it will be more you will be more flexible because you're already used to a Canon system,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because I'm using a Fuji system, it's a bit different. So it took like a few months for me to adjust to the way of using it, and also post processing it will be a bit different with the Canon Fuji files. Other than that, actually I don't find much of a difference. Like once you have the shot, right, nobody can say if it is with a full frame or with a crop sensor. It really doesn't matter, right? End of the day, it's your composition and your frame that matters. uh, I didn't find much of a difference or a challenge. I take both of them, and I tend to use Fuji more because my 5D Mark II is quite old, right? It has its limitations. Whereas in Fuji, we have more options, right? Especially the Milky Way shots or the Star Trail shots, right? It's more easy for me with Fuji. So I thought Fuji is better in terms of noise reduction and all. That's mainly because it's more recent one.
Yeah, I think that's
software and all. It's more recent one.
In the end, what boils down is that how good you are as an individual photographer, and how good you can handle your own gear, no matter which gear you have in your hands.
Yes, for me, gear doesn't matter actually. Like I'm using 5D Mark II, which is like 2009 model, right? It's released in 2009, but it's good enough, right? It's good enough for all these situations, and it doesn't matter whether it is Canon or Nikon or anything. It just what makes you comfortable in your hands. Whichever you get used to, right? You keep using that. There is no need to worry about all these new models which are releasing often, and all those megapixels and features. 90% of those features which they are selling, right? We don't need.
Absolutely right. Very well said. I am done with my question. Anybody has any questions, Som or Sandeep? Otherwise, we can.
No, I think it's been a fascinating session.
I think somebody asked, I think this is one thing I wanted to say. Should we go for white balance while shooting or in post process?
Yeah.
I would suggest go in the while shooting. That gives you some idea, like what you are doing.
Absolutely, that's what I always. Yeah.
So white balance, you always try to adjust while shooting. That gives you a good idea of how your output will be.
Right. Very, very, very good input. So I think Pankaj, I missed your question, so I was not aware. Anyways, so I think thank you guys. Thank you, Prasad, for taking out your time from your busy schedule these days. And thank you guys out there for coming out and attending this session. We've been trying to restart these sessions, and I think we should now try and get into our groove again with one session every week. We will try and do that. And I think all I can say is thank you guys, and thank you Som and Sandeep as well, and Himadri, that you could even join us in your all challenging days, challenging moments that you have these days. And we are proud to have Prasad as one of the mentors with Xploring Light. And
honor is mine.
I hope everybody now understands that why we have people who we have now on our board. So, and Prasad is an exception. I would have wanted to spend more time with you, Prasad, in past, but anyways, I think
very soon we will surely once this pandemic goes.
Once this pandemic gets over, we certainly will. And thank you guys. Stay tuned for more. Keep spreading the word. Keep loving us. Keep sharing our channel, our videos, our extra bytes with whomsoever you feel would get benefited from these. And hopefully now you will be able to see much more of us. And we are going to really bother you quite a lot. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a fascinating journey. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Good work. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.